Welcome, and congratulations on your purchase of a Whitfield pellet stove. We are very proud of the stoves we build and consider them to be the best designed and best manufactured pellet stoves in the world. It is the purpose of this video presentation to familiarize you with the operation and maintenance concepts of your Advantage Series pellet stove. We would like to begin this presentation by first acquainting you with the story behind the stove, the Whitfield Story. Dr. Jerry Whitfield held a PhD in aeroacoustics and worked in the aerospace industry for the Boeing Company and Rolls-Royce. He also had a most unusual question. Is there a more efficient, convenient, and environmentally friendly way to heat with wood? Simply put, is there a better way? In 1983, he set out on his own to find the answer. His discovery has revolutionized the way the world heats with wood. Dr. Whitfield is the inventor and the creator of the pellet burning stove. From the garage of 1983 with a single stove, Whitfield and his company, Pyro Industries, has grown to a 115,000 square foot manufacturing plant with hundreds of new stoves ready for shipment. Whitfield is well prepared to meet the growing demand for their product. They sell more pellet stoves than all other 30-plus manufacturers in North America combined. The reason for this success is simple. A better idea, well done. The result is the pellet stove. Conventional wood stoves control heat by manually regulating the flow of air to the fire. The simple but revolutionary concept of the pellet stove is to control heat by thermostatically regulating the amount of fuel reaching the high temperature forced air firebox. This innovative method produces heat in a very efficient and controllable manner, with a second blower forcing clean, heated air into the room. A unique air wash system draws air in over the glass to help keep the viewing glass clean. This is the pellet stove, and it burns the most unique fuel. The fuel pellets for the Whitfield stove are made from waste wood dust and chips. No new trees are cut for fuel. Wood pellets are domestically produced from renewable resources. They require only 1/3 the storage space of cordwood and are available in clean, easily manageable 40-pound bags. The cost of the pellets compares favorably with other home heating fuels. This very efficient fuel has become increasingly easier to obtain. From only 2 producers in 1983, the number of manufacturers has increased each year, totaling over 50 in North America today, with additional plants coming online each year. The spirit of the new Whitfield manufacturing plant in Burlington, Washington, can be best summed up in a single word: efficiency. The plant has been designed to be efficient. The staff works with efficiency, and the plant's only product, the Whitfield pellet stove, reflects this efficiency in its design, manufacture, and operation. The entire stove is produced right here in the world's largest pellet stove manufacturing plant. From receipt of flat sheet metal stock and basic electrical components, production moves through a series of manufacturing areas. each featuring major investments in the most up-to-date equipment and technology. Raw steel is punched in computer-managed presses to produce the basic stove sections. A modern sheet metal shop fabricates the individual stove components using electronically controlled machinery for optimum accuracy. Each stove is pre-fit together to ensure exact alignment before moving to the welding station. Here, computer-controlled, automated robotics provide precise internal welds. After further production work, the internal parts of the pellet stove, such as augers, blowers, and safety components are installed. Electronic controls and safety devices are fitted by hand and tested for system integrity and dependability. The nearly completed stoves are sent to the paint stations where they receive one of several high-quality finishes and final inspection before shipping. It is the commitment to an ideal and to the realization of this commitment that has made Whitfield a proven leader in the pellet stove industry. But Whitfield does not only build the best stove today, they continue with designing for tomorrow. Whitfield's dedication to quality and efficiency, to a better way, has led to today's pellet stove. It is this dedication that has produced stoves with such durability and high burn efficiencies, with virtually no creosote buildup or visible smoke, that are EPA approved, and whose emission levels are so low that they have little or no impact on the environment. And because these stoves radiate significant heat only to the front, they may be installed within 1 inch of a wall. Installation is also made much simpler by the fact that Whitfield's forced air combustion system does not require any chimney, and the stove may be directly vented to the outside using only a 3-inch double-walled pipe. The same commitment that has produced today's stove drives the people of Whitfield to look always to the future. Improved design, greater efficiency, and even greater ease of operation remain a constant goal here. And while Whitfield is working for the future, they continue to build stoves of superb quality for today's user. For the Whitfield stove user, there may be little concern for product history or computer-controlled robotics. In fact, the true beauty and value of the Whitfield pellet stove lies in its easy dependability for the homeowner. With simple, periodic cleaning, the pellet stove has made wood heating a convenient and enjoyable experience. Fuel is placed in the hopper for up to a 50-hour burn time. The stove is easy to light, using a single match. Heat output is automatically controlled and is set either at the stove or at an optional wall-mounted thermostat. The Whitfield stove now provides a safe, steady, and clean source of warmth with comfort, style, and beauty. The pellet stove was invented to make heating with wood a science. And today, the industry leader still bears the name of its inventor, Jerry Whitfield. Our stove is designed and built to work efficiently and to last. Our dealers stand behind our product, and we stand behind our product, both today and tomorrow. For very valid reasons, the inventor of the pellet stove remains the leader. This is the Whitfield story. Congratulations again on your purchase of a Whitfield pellet stove. Your Advantage model, either freestanding or insert, is a highly efficient and well-engineered product. it will be necessary for you to learn the basics of operation and maintenance in order to realize the capabilities built into your stove. This is especially true in the first few days as you learn to fine-tune your stove's operation. This program has been prepared to help you through this period, as well as to provide a visual guide through some other operation and maintenance procedures. It is, however, only a guide, and we strongly encourage your study of and referral to the owner's manual, in which, by the way, you will find the warranty card we ask you to return to us. For the sake of safety and proper operation, we also highly recommend professional installation by your authorized Whitfield dealer. In the operation and maintenance portion of the film, we will look at the following sections: startup, to include fuel and lighting your stove; operation; fine-tuning; cleaning; and yearly routine maintenance. Let's begin with starting up your new stove and a brief talk about fuel. It is important that you make certain you have suitable pellets. Your dealer is a good source of information on the factors to consider in purchasing the quality fuel needed to get the most from your stove. Please note that fuel pellets may vary in size and composition, giving different burn rates. We will talk more about fuel later, and for now finish by saying that fuel should always be stored in a dry area. Before lighting your stove for the first time, be certain that all protective film is removed from the brass trim and all contents are removed from the hopper. Check the burn grate for proper seating and pour fuel pellets into the hopper. Avoid including excessive fines, the sawdust at the bottom of the container, as these may affect proper operation. Depress the start button and move the on-off switch to the on position. This activates the auger motor and allows it to prime, which means to fill up with fuel pellets. Turn the heat output selector to position 5. Once pellets begin to fall into the burn grate, approximately 5 to 10 minutes, turn the auger on-off switch to the off position. Place a handful of pellets on top of an approved fire starter, remembering never to use flammable liquids. Light with a match close the door, and turn the heat output selector to position 3. When the pellets are glowing, approximately 3 minutes, slide the on-off switch to the on position to start the auger and begin the feeding of fuel to the burn grate. Finally, set the heat output to the desired 1 through 5 position. You may note a strong odor as the stove cures during this first burn, and it is best to allow for proper room ventilation at this time. In this section, we can look closer at some of your stove's operating controls. The heat output switch controls the amount of fuel reaching the burn grate, and therefore the amount of heat your stove will produce. Adjusting this switch also automatically regulates the amount of air reaching the fire, so that the fuel-to-air mixture is always exactly correct. The blower speed knob controls the amount of heated air reaching your room. The stove is regulated through the adjustment of these controls to provide the desired amount of home heating. When burning in the number 5 maximum heat output position, you should set the blower speed also to its highest position in order to convect the maximum amount of heated air out of the stove. Failure to do so will tend to overheat the stove and activate the automatic shutdown system. When operating with an optional wall thermostat, you will realize the most efficient operation when selecting heat output positions 2 through 4. The stove may be turned off by simply moving the on-off switch to the off position. This will cause the auger to stop feeding fuel, and after the remaining pellets have been burned, the fire will go out. The blowers will continue to operate until the stove cools down sufficiently. In the event of a power outage, your stove will shut itself safely down and may be restarted following normal procedures. Pellets can differ significantly in length, size, and quality, even within the same brand as the source of waste wood changes. And all of these factors can affect the pellet's burning characteristics. The key to optimum pellet stove performance is the proper mixing of fuel and air, and the damper is the homeowner's tool for fine-tuning this flow of air to the fire. The simple task of adjusting the damper is accomplished by loosening the collar set screw on the damper rod and pushing or pulling the rod in or out as required to achieve the proper flame, and then retightening the set screw with the collar touching the stove. The proper setting will vary from stove to stove due to installation, altitude, and types of fuel being used. Once the damper has been properly set for a particular type of fuel, this fuel-to-air ratio will remain accurate for all heat output settings and does not have to be reset again unless a significantly different type of fuel is used. You may expect a 40-pound bag of pellets to typically last between 10 and 35 hours, depending upon the quality of the fuel being burned. A proper flame is a bright yellow with no soot formation at the top of the flame. If the flame is a lazy, smoky red-orange color with soot at the top, or pellets build up in the grate, or the window becomes dirty, the fire needs more combustion air. Pull the damper out for more air until the flame begins to dance and becomes a bright yellow. If in the position 1 minimum fuel feed setting, your stove will not stay lit, the particular pellets you are using may not be feeding fast enough to keep the fire going, and you will need to push the damper approximately 1/4 of an inch further in for less combustion air. A smoky red-orange flame can also mean your stove is in need of cleaning, because ash deposits may be starting to block some of the exhaust passages. Cleaning is done on an as-needed basis because of the different types of fuels used and varying times of operation for each individual stove. The areas to be inspected include the burn grate, the heat exchanger tubes, the ash pan, and the ash trap baffles located behind the left and right side fire brick panels. It is very important to note that your stove should be disconnected from the power source and sufficiently cooled prior to cleaning. The burn grate should be inspected periodically to assure that the air holes or slots have not become clogged with ash or hardened ash deposits called clinkers. The burn grate can easily be cleaned with the grate scraper ash pan tool, or it can be removed for cleaning. Ash around the grate may be swept into the ash pan at this time. It is very important to check the ash buildup under the burn grate, as excessive buildup here may stop air from reaching the fire. The burn grate may now be replaced. The heat exchanger tubes are located above the combustion chamber door and are cleaned by sliding the built-in cleaning rod back and forth a few times weekly. The ash pan will need to be emptied when full. Remove the ash pan trim piece located below the door. Turn the latch on the ash pan access door counterclockwise and open the door. Using the ash pan tool, remove the pan and dump the contents into a non-combustible container. Slide the pan back into the stove and firmly close the door. The job is finished by replacing the trim piece. Access to the ash trap baffles is obtained by removing the 2 fire brick retention plates and the fire brick. Remove the burn grate and loosen the 2 screws that hold each fire brick retention plate in place. And remove both plates. Remove the 2 side fire bricks first, then the center fire brick, being careful as the fire bricks are fragile. Remove the 2 screws that hold each baffle in place. And remove both baffles. Thoroughly clean the baffles and other surfaces where ash has collected. When finished, replace all parts in reverse order. The windows may be cleaned with a damp cloth at this time, when the blowers are off and the stove is cool. This is also a good opportunity to check your air wash opening for obstructions, using a thin piece of cardboard. If you have purchased an optional oak or driftwood style log set, cleaning can be accomplished by simply using a soft bristle brush once the logs have cooled sufficiently. In addition to as-needed cleaning, your stove will require certain routine inspections. All venting should be inspected at least once a year by an authorized Whitfield dealer for possible leakage and accumulation of ash. Ash buildup in the exhaust vents will prevent proper airflow through the stove. The condition of the rope gasket around the door and windows should be checked periodically and repaired or replaced as necessary. The door seal is inspected by closing the door on a strip of paper. The paper should meet slight resistance when withdrawn. This procedure should be repeated in several locations around the door. At the end of the burning season, it is a good idea to remove the unused pellets from the hopper, as they may deteriorate over time and impair the future performance of your stove. This program has been created for you, the owner of a new Whitfield pellet stove. It has been our intention to familiarize you with the operation and maintenance aspects of your purchase. There may seem to be many things to learn, but you will see that you soon come to know and understand your stove as it becomes a member of your family, and these routine procedures will become commonplace. We invite you to return to this program for guidance and remind you that your manual holds most of the answers to your questions. And please remember that your dealer represents us and is there to support you if you need further assistance. Thank you again, and we hope you enjoy your Whitfield pellet stove.